So kicking off, as always, the way I store my Thermomix is I have the measuring cup in the basket, ready to go, and the basket becomes my scrap bowl. But tonight I don't have that many scraps, so I'll just park that to one side and popping the lid in. And just remember, just in case you haven't been told or missed out, with your measuring cup, you do not want to be putting your fingers under here to take it out. With the TM6, it doesn't drop out. What you want to do is take your thumb, head along to that area there, and with your finger, it just comes off naturally like that. That's the safe way to take your measuring cup out. Right, so let's get cracking. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with, what should we start off with? The cheese? Oh, let's start off with the brownies, it's okay. So into the Thermomix bowl, I'm going to add in 80 grams of plain flour. I will put this recipe up on my blog in the next few days. So 80 grams of plain flour. And I've also got here 25 grams of cocoa. Remember, cocoa is not drinking chocolate. Drinking chocolate's got extra sugar in it. Cocoa doesn't have that sugar added in. So that's going in there. And then a little bit of salt is going in, about a teaspoon of salt. And what I want to get the Thermomix to do is I want it to sieve the flour. And the way that I do that, it's going to sieve and it's going to aerate and it's going to combine all those ingredients, is I'm going to move into my turbo mode. So with the TM6, you've got all these wonderful modes that you can actually select from. So into turbo, thank you. So it's slightly different. Oh, no, we don't want to pre-clean, do we? Oh yeah, we want turbo. Thank you.
Turn it off.
I know. Thank you. And 1 second blast. All I need to do is hit that, turn the dial. And we'll do that a couple of times. I usually just go 5 times.
So is this a cookie dough recipe?
No, this is my own recipe and it will go up on the blog so you can make this. It is very, very delicious, and I'll open up, I'll show you one of those beautiful ones in a minute that I made earlier. So now that flour and cocoa and salt have been added together and aerated, I just want to tip those into a bowl and set them to one side for a little bit later. So just head off home.
So hi to Mariana, watching from Malaysia.
Oh, hello.
This is just so you know, Colette was born in Malaysia.
I was born in Kuala Lumpur. I love Malaysia, Singapore. Oh, wonderful. So there you go. You can see how beautifully combined that all is. And now all I'm going to do is put this into one of this is the baby mixing bowl from the Thermomix Trio set, which I absolutely love. I've seen other versions of this, but the metal is really thin. This is quite substantial. You know, it gets its quality. You get what you pay for, don't you? All right, so that's good. That's all shaken out. So I'm just going to set that to one side. And now I'm going to add into here the butter and the cocoa. So I've got 200 grams of chopped butter. Mine is salted. But that's okay. I love the addition of a bit of salt in my sweet desserts. And then I've also got 200 grams of chocolate chips. Andrew, tell me, what is this called when they go this colour?
It's called, it's when the fat comes out, it's called fat.
Oh, and
Fat bloom.
Blue, yeah, so they're still absolutely fine to use. So these ones are bittersweet chocolate. These are the ones from Costco. You get a humongous big bag for about $20. Become rather fond of these. I think the cocoa content is somewhere about 44%. So it's that bittersweet. So it's not sickly sweet, but it's not really bitter. So 200 grams of those are going in. And what we're going to do is we're going to melt those together. And I'm going to do this in 2 stages. I'm going to go for 2 minutes. And I'm going to go at 60 degrees. And I'm going to go at speed 2. So while that's melting down, what I'm going to do is just line my tin. So I have a tin just about 20 centimetres by 20 centimetres. I'm just going to line this. starting to melt now. Now, of course, you can just tear off a piece of baking paper and just shove it in the tin. I do like to kind of cut my corners out. And I do really like to make it a little bit extra long so that it's easy for me to take the baked brownie out of the tin. Because it's going to be soft and squidgy when it comes out.
So in our house, Colette wraps all the Christmas presents.
Oh.
And this is the reason why. Look at this.
I know.
When Colette wraps Christmas presents, they're not just wrapped, they are covered in little mini balloons and little candy sticks.
Just the same way I like my food to look beautiful. I think you kind of see things and the anticipation grows as you actually see things that are beautiful. So that's wonderful. So let's just head back to this because we're going to have to go for a couple more minutes. And what I want to show you is, so remember that little tip, you just touch the screen to keep it quiet, or you can actually look at the length of it. But you can see here what's happened. Some of those chips have crept up the side of the bowl as that blade has turned. So we've only gone for 2 minutes. I need to just pop those back down again with my spatula.
Sneaky little chocolate chips they were trying to get out.
Yum. Okay, and then I am just going to go for, I've just got my spoon rest. I'm going to go for, I'm going to do a minute. Usually I do 3 minutes in total, but we'll see.
You held back there. I thought you were going to put that in your mouth when you brought it out.
Oh, well, I might have done that if it was just...
I know you would do.
I'm rather partial to a bit of chocolate, my dear. Up to 60 degrees, and again at speed 2. And that's just going to catch those other little ones that we have. So rolling this over, I haven't got any butter with me, it's in the fridge, but I'll miss out on that. But this, you'll see, will just fit in there quite nicely. And it's got those little areas that are the handles, which will be lovely. And that will just go in like that. So that's now ready to kind of have that poured in. I might just get a couple of clips. I have these little quilting clips that I use. These little guys here. You could use a bulldog clip or something like that. It just helps to keep this long bit out of the way when I'm pouring in the actual mix. There we go, you can see it's going to be nice and easy. So that's all ready to go, and we're just about finished, and I can hear that that's all fine. Nearly done, cooling down. Isn't it gorgeous? Alright, so here we go. Next.
It's the Darth Vader of Thermomixes.
Okay, so that's all beautiful. That's just as I want that. So that's all melted down, the butter and the chocolate chips. Now, you know, there's so many different types of chocolate chips around. Just taste them. If you don't like the taste of them, if they're too sweet and sickly, it means that your brownie's going to be too sweet and sickly. So find ones that you love. I wouldn't particularly use my beautiful Calibut Couture chocolate for this one. I think this is kind of a more of an everyday treat. But you know, you could absolutely do that if you wanted to. So the next thing that I'm going to add into here, I'm going to add back in now that mix that we had with the flour, the cocoa powder and the salt. So that's going back into the bowl. And I'm also going to add into there some brown sugar, and the brown sugar is going in, and I've got 170 grams of soft brown sugar.
That's a lot of brown sugar.
It's an awful lot. That's what I said, this is a naughty recipe, but you know, most brownie recipes that are decadent and gooey and unctuous are naughty treats. That's why we have them just now and again. And then into that mix I need 3 eggs. Okay. So just popping those eggs in. Okay, 1.
Good girl. She's not cracking the eggs on the side of the bowl.
Oh, Andrew, you've learned so much about cooking.
Well, I'm just pointing these things out to people who are watching. You never hit anything on the side of the bowl because of the sensitive scales built into Thermomix.
Exactly. exactly.
Yeah.
And why do I crack my egg on the workbench and not on the side of a bowl, Andrew?
I know the answer. I know that one. I know, just go on.
Because if you're cracking it on the side, the shell actually goes inwards.
Yeah, I knew that. That was
yeah,
it.
there's more chance of the shell getting into your mix. Okay, so that's all gone in, and then I need some vanilla, and I'm going to go for about a tablespoon of vanilla. I think would be nice, or maybe about 3/4 of a tablespoon. That's going in. Pop that there, and then the lid's going to go on, and now we're just going to mix. So this is the brownie mix. So if you just wanted to make brownies, this is a wonderful brownie recipe. So now what I'm going to do is combine that, and it's simply going to be about 5 seconds, I think will be fine. At speed number 5. And just check that that's all combined. If not, we'll just go for a little bit longer. Yep, that looks pretty good to me. So there you go. So I'm just going to now just show you. You cannot lick the spoon, Andrew. You're being good. You're doing your low carb today.
I just want to put my whole hand in there.
Okay, just put your whole body in there, darling. All right, so that's all there. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add in some more chocolate. Heck, we haven't got enough chocolate. So I've got some more chocolate going in here. It's about 150 grams. What I would normally do at this stage is I'd introduce a block chocolate, which I cut up by hand. So I've got some chunky bits going in, but these will work just as well.
Ingrid says she wants to lick the screen.
Oh. Okay, and this is the stage as well. You could add in some nuts. So I would normally add in either walnuts or my favourite macadamia, and about 80 grams would be a good balance of nuts to add in. But I'm making these up for my youngest son, who has a bit of a nut allergy. So I've just mixed those in by hand, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour about 3/3 of this mixture into this bowl. Oh,
so the chocolate you just added in, they stay whole?
They will, no, they'll melt, but they're going to be like little chocolatey pockets, which are going to be wonderful. So that will probably be good. And then we're just spreading that out into this tin. Okay.
You see this pool of saliva on the floor here?
So sorry. Okay. Right, so that's all great.
Just look at that.
I know. Right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab another bowl. Always handy to have a second Thermomix bowl. And that's going to go on there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the cheesecake mix. So it's just a classic. So I put this same classic mix on top of like a biscuit crust or something, and it is rather delicious. Now you can certainly do twice as much of this if you want a thicker layer, but you'll see with my brownies I've just got a bit of the cheesecake on the top. I don't want it flooded. I want it to complement the brownie rather to be a main part of this. So into the Thermomix bowl, 200 grams of cream cheese. Okay. And then I'm also...
Any particular brand of cream cheese?
Whatever you like. I like Philadelphia. Aldi do a great, really inexpensive cream cheese, which is pretty good.
I assume this is not low-fat cream cheese? Of course not.
But of course you could use that. I've got about 60 grams of caster sugar. So this is caster sugar that I've milled in the Thermomix from ordinary granulated sugar. So that's just going in there, 60 grams. A nice pinch of salt going in there. And then what I'm actually going to do is add in again about 3/4 of a tablespoon of the vanilla. Excellent. And I'm going to grab my butterfly. So excuse me, darling, for 1 second.
Uh-oh. Short interlude.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. All right. So I forgot to add my butterfly in. This is just going to help this to get together. And it is, if you do twice as much of this, it does mix better. You need to give it a few stop starts, but that's quite all right. So butterfly's gone in. So remembering whenever we use the butterfly, no more than speed 4. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to go for about 15 seconds will be probably fine, and then I'll stop, scrape down and do it again.
You don't need this egg?
I will need that egg at speed 4. Good. Alright, so that was fine. Alright, so just opening up. So just doing that little scrape down so you can see it's kind of, and you do want to make sure your cream cheese is nice and soft. So just scraping that down. And then now I'm going to add my 1 egg into this mix. And it's going to make it kind of nice and runny, which is going to help us.
You're not tasting any of this as you go along?
Because I've made it so often. But you could definitely taste as you go along. Do you need more vanilla, a bit more sugar, etc.? But I've made this recipe. It's actually one of my recipes I've input into Thermomix. I just love it. Alright, so on with the measuring cup again, and I'm just going to continue now with that egg, 10 seconds at speed 4.
So Meryl says, hands off Andrew. I'm not too sure what she means. Does she mean I've got to keep my hands off the chocolate, or Kate's got to keep her hands off me? Hands off Andrew.
Okay, that's lovely. Alright, so taking out the butterfly, just getting off the excess. And then I just need to scrape that down with my little spatula here. Okay. Okay, that is exactly as I want it. So it is, as I said to you, it is a little bit runny, but that is beautiful.
It's like
So
the consistency of custard.
my oven heats up really well, but you need to preheat it to 160 degrees.
Pan forced?
Pan forced. 160, that's okay. And then just popping this down. Okay. Right, so now to finish this off, I'm just going to check and see how much I've got left. Probably just a little tad too much of this one. So just spreading that out.
It's got a bit thicker now, isn't it, as it's cooled down?
Yeah. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pour on the cream cheese on top. Just popping that all over.
Do you know, I've put on 2 kilos in weight just watching this.
Okay, so scraping all that goodness out of the bowl. And remember the little hack, you know, if you've got stuff stuck around your blade, just pop it back on, go into turbo for a couple of half-second blasts, and it's going to whiz it off so that you can get more off the blade and into whatever you're making. Okay, that will do for now. Excellent. So, what I want to do now is I am going to, with my spatula, which I think most of you will probably have now, is I'm just going to spread this out, just all on top. Naughty but very nice. And of course we've got the salt in there. Salt actually brings out the sweetness and just takes away the stickiness of a lot of it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dollop on top.
Ah, I see. This is how you get that marbly effect.
Of this. Okay. And that last little bit, yum. Okay, and then all I want to do is to grab a toothpick or something like that. I'm using my
Tweezers?
Plating tweezers, and you're just going to take this and you're going to marble this all the way through so it looks amazing, and it's going to be so tempting. I mean, how good does that look? Yum. So the idea is then you pop that into your freezer. Now if I'm entertaining and I want to really impress, what I will actually do is I will put a bed of strawberries down underneath. So we've got strawberries, beautiful gooey chocolate brownie, cheesecake mix, and I will actually drizzle on a lovely raspberry coulis. So it should be raspberries, not strawberries, and it's so delicious. So that's going to go into a 160 oven. Now, if you want it gooey and soft, 27 minutes. If you want it kind of set, but still soft and really moist, 30 minutes. And if you want it cake-like but moist, you probably want to go 33 minutes. So keep an eye on it. I love to go for the 30 minutes. Then you're going to take it out. You've got the little handles here now. Do they come off? And then when you take it out of the oven, set it on your wire rack and leave it in the tin for about 15 minutes because it's really soft and ooey gooey. After 15 minutes, it starts to
It's ooey gooey.
It's just delicious. After that 15 minutes, you can then lift it out using the handle and leave it on your rack on the paper. And you want to give it a good half hour before you get into it. Often I come back to these and there's a little corner piece taken out. Andrew.
Look, hey, look, you know we've got a mouse problem here.
Ah, yes. All right, so that's the idea behind those. So just showing you what they actually end up looking at. I can't tell you how good they are. So these ones have actually been in the freezer.
Yes, you can.
Oh, they are so good.
Are they ooey gooey?
Oh, they're really yummy. So these ones are cold from the freezer, and I love to use my pizza slice to cut these with.
Holy moly,
it
that's...
makes cutting them really easy. I'm just going to disappear for a second, Andrew.
That's a mean piece of equipment, that is.
So to give you an idea, for those of you, that's how so these are in my freezer, ready for whenever anyone drops around. These have got walnuts added into them. So what I did is I cut them, I froze them, so they're all separated, so individual pieces. So I can open this vacuum lock sealed bag, take out one piece if I want, reseal it and put it back in. So it's a great way to keep it rather than do it in a big chunk, so you can just take off little bits as and when. So this is what they're like. They're just, you have to get close up. They're just, they're just so chocolatey. You can see the denseness of the chocolate there. Now, if I did warm these up just a tad, you'll see how gooey these become, and they're just absolutely delicious.
What would you do? Just put them in the microwave, or?
Yeah, just give them a quick warm up in the microwave. So good. And the addition of the cheesecake makes them extra special.